I was asked a question the other day. I was asked, what is my favorite Neville quote? And usually the one I give is where he says, if I judge by the senses, I'll be enslaved by them. And I think that is one of my favorites. But the more I, started thinking about it, I realize right now, I notice it always shifts every couple months, but the one that's really been on my mind as of late has been when he says that I assumed that I have it and I did nothing that I was ashamed of to get it. And yeah, that right now has been kind of my favorite. And I've been trying to think about why. And I think the reason is because over time, I started noticing that people's versions of like how it will happen, like let's say I imagine something, you start wondering how. Everyone had almost had a different how. In some people's how, there was time involved. They were worried about the timing of it. Or in other people's how, it was worried about if they're capable of doing the thing they imagined. Some people were worried about if something bad will happen to them in the how to get what they want. And for me, there was two. It was the fear of doing something I don't want to do, and the fear of hurting someone in the process. I noticed that those two were just in my mind. And so I started noticing there's just a different, there's differences here. And there's two things that Neville said that kind of calms both of those worries down. He says that, he says, from my own experience, I never did anything that I was ashamed of when I practiced the law to get what I wanted. I just assumed that I had it. And then another thing he says that you won't hurt anybody if you use the law because God won't hurt himself. And I used to kind of theorize about those things. I'd always try to put it in theory. But when you really start to practice the law, you see it's just true. It just is. Things just seem to unfold naturally. You don't necessarily try to control life or you do things you're ashamed of. Or you don't break your values or moral codes. It just starts to unfold after you start to assume you have it. And that's really all you have to start doing is start assuming you have it. Don't worry about how you got it. Just assume just know that you have it. Don't worry about how you got it. That's what I would say. And yeah, those two just kind of calmed my worries down for a long time. This is like years ago. I'm more just going back on what was one of my favorites at the time and just kind of one that's been sparked up again, which has been that one. It's more of a statement, a sentence that Neville said rather than a quote. And I got to say, like, if you don't practice Neville's work, if you don't practice the law, he's right again when he says that you're the operant power. It's very true. If you don't practice it, you just stay the same. That's really the only punishment is you just remain exactly as you are. We're the operant powers of ourselves. We shape ourselves. We're the clay and we're the potter. But if you just leave the vessel spinning and you don't ever put your imaginal fingers into it and press into it, it just stays the same. You don't start assuming you are things and you have things. You just stay the same. And that's really all that happens. And he's absolutely right on that. I noticed that from my own experience. There's been times where I don't practice the law. And I just stayed exactly as I was. Exactly as I was. Exactly as I left myself. That's what I was doing. And you just continue it like it's a routine almost. Like it's a mental routine. Every morning I have a cappuccino. And it's just part of my morning routine. And it's just a symbol as well for thought. We all have our morning coffee thought. We all think habitually, routinely. And when you go to assume you have something that you otherwise think you didn't, you've changed the mental routine. You changed it. You planted that. Someone asked me recently, how do I plant a seed? Because in my last video I said we're planting dreams. Remember, how do I plant a dream? You have faith that it will grow. That's how you plant it. It sounds strange, but it's true. You have faith that it will sprout. That's how you plant it. You imagine it and have faith that it will sprout. And if it's long, then wait for it is sure, and it will not be late. You have to think in poetry, and you have to think in terms of metaphor, and no longer just kind of leave the world of theory for a bit, and understand you're the planter of dreams, and they grow after their own kind, and you just have to start to believe in them, believe in the reality of them, and you've planted it and have faith that it will sprout in your world. And in the sprouting, you don't have to fear that the sprouting you are going to hurt someone, or you're going to do something you're ashamed of, or that it's going to take too long. You can calm all the hows in your mind. And I think that saying the words, don't worry about how you got it, is important in imagination. When you assume you have something in imagination, you didn't go out and get it. You assumed that you had it. You didn't really think about how you got it. You didn't really think about when you got it. You didn't think about who gave it to you. You didn't really think about any of that. You just have it. And that's all you have to do. And any more in the mind, you're going to start to question it. And I'm sure I don't work with clay, but I'm sure that if you fiddle too much with the clay, it can kind of fall apart. That's in anything that we do. Same is true for imagination. And the only way I can it's the way I would say it is you don't want to just repeat words. You want to mean them. You want to actually mean what you say in imagination. You want to imagine with a purpose, with a feeling that believes in what you're doing inside yourself, in the depths of yourself, which is really just within us. So the deeper we go into reality, we actually have to go inward because we're a part of this reality. And the deeper we go, we find ourselves in an imaginal world, a world built off of dreams. And these dreams are meant to be felt as real. We have to start imagining our world, ourselves better if we want a better world, because the world's shaped to us. I don't make a cup that doesn't fit my hand. No, we shape it around the hand. The same way, the cup is the world. The cup is the imagination. We shape it to us. And so you just keep planting. You keep planting dreams. Just keep planting dreams. Just keep planting dreams. You just continue doing that throughout your life. You're going to do it anyways. I'm just letting you know, you're going to do it anyway. You're either going to do it without knowing, or you're going to do it. The same way, you can really enjoy the meal you're eating, or you can just hate it. I mean, you're going to have to eat it though. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to plant dreams. You're going to dream in this world. You're going to dream more than anything you do in this world. You're going to dream more than anything else. I don't care how long your job is. You're going to dream more than your job. You're going to dream more than anything you do here. You are inherently a dreamer. That is what man is. And the dreamer took upon the flesh. And so I'm going to end that one here. I don't feel like I have anything else to add right now. Same as always, my books are out. It's all in the description, live streaming, everything. It's all there. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.